All right, all you Trill 8th graders out there, this is your homie, Mr. Kenny. Today is October 2nd, 2013. This is going to be page 9 in your notes, which is 3 pages after 6. And, and the title of the notes today is called Square Roots. And we're going to talk about what is the square root of a number. Square root is the number that, when multiplied by itself, equals the value under the square root sign. So we got some examples below. So we want to find the square root of 36. So what number times itself will give you 36? Of course, that's 6. Same thing with the square root of 16. What number times itself will give you 16? And that's 4. So the square root of 16 is 4. Now, there can be times, though, where you have a numerical expression, like the one down here below, that can contain square roots. So here, when you see a number directly to the left of a square root, always use multiplication. So you want to find the square root of the number that's in the radical, which is 16. So the square root of 16 is 4. That's going to be multiplied by the 2, and then add the 5. 2 times 4 is 8, plus the 5, and we get 13. I went ahead and added a second one right below. We have 4 square root 25 minus 5. See if you can figure that out. I'm going to go ahead and start solving it. Square root of 25 is 5. Not going to let me write here. All right. And then that's going to be multiplied by the 4 on the outside minus the 5. So 20 minus 5, we get 15. Good job. All right, so moving on, another issue is whether you can distribute the square root sign to the numbers when there's a problem underneath the square root sign. All right, so what that means is when you see the radical and there's an operation being performed on the inside, you have two options. So here we've got the square root, and then 36 divided by 49 is on the inside. So that's division being performed within the radical. We'll have two choices on how to handle that one. Looking over to the one at the right, you have the square root, and then within that, 9 plus 16. So again, there's an operation being performed within the radical. This one, it's addition. So you'll have two options to look at. Actually, you only have one option for each. And the way that we determine what to do with them is which operation is being performed within the radical. So if the operation on this under the square root is addition or subtraction, then you have to do the operation that's within the radical first. And we'll do that example right above. So here we've got square root and then 9 plus 16. So we have to do 9 plus 16, which is 25. That all stays within the radical. And then you simplify square root of 25. What number times itself will give you 25 is 5. So that's how we get that one. If the operation on the square root is multiplication or division, though, then you can choose to find the square root first or perform the operation first. And I'll show you what we mean by that. I know this isn't my normal, beautiful handwriting, but you guys get the gist. All right, so here we've got square root and then 36 divided by 49. So you could do 36 divided by 49 and then take the square root of that. That's going to be pretty tough. Or you can separate them and distribute that radical sign into the numbers, meaning you'll have the square root of 36 and you'll divide that by the square root of 49. Then you would do the square root of 36, which is 6, the square root of 49, which is 7. Fraction does not need to be simplified. So there's your answer. All right, so go ahead and flip over to the back side, and we've got 4 examples for us to work through. Normally, we would do maybe 2 or 3 together and give you the last one to do on your own. Today, though, we're going to do all of them together, and then I'm going to give you a question to think about. I'll have you write out your response on your notes. We'll check in and make sure that you put some thought into the question that I'm going to ask at the end. And then you guys will talk in your pods, discuss, and then we'll talk about a class. to discuss that special question. Okay, all right, so here we've got to evaluate each expression. So I've got 3 times the square root of 49 minus 9. You guessed it, we want to do what's in the radical first. Square root of 49, which is 7. That gets multiplied by the 3, subtracted by the 9. 21 minus 9, we end up getting 12. Over here in the next example, we've got the square root, and then 9 plus 16 is all underneath it. Whatever that is, we add 7 to. So addition is being performed within the radical, so we have to do what's in the radical before we do anything. So 9 plus 16 is 25, so we would take the square root of 25 and add 7. 5 plus 7, and we end up getting 12. All right, 2 more problems, and then we'll be done with notes. So here we have 64 being divided by 4 within the radical. So we can distribute the radical sign into each number and separate them. So that becomes the square root of 64 divided by the square root of 4. So that ends up being 8 divided by 2, which is 4. And then last but not least, we have a negative sign outside of parentheses, and then square root of 25, square root of 16. When you see 2 roots together like that, it means multiplication between them. And we always want to do what's on the parentheses first. So if you think we're going to do negative 5 times 4, we're actually wrong. And that negative is going to stay outside the parentheses. And we do the square root of 25, which is 5, times the square root of 16, which is 4. 5 times 4 is 20, and then that negative sign comes down with it and stays attached, and you get negative 20 for an answer. All right. The $25,000 question that we want you to think about. Why is square root called a square root? It would help if you looked up the definition of a root. What does that mean? And then try to apply it to this concept of being squared, and why do we call it square root. So good luck with that, and look forward to hearing all your great answers, and we'll see you soon. All right, bye.